Hi, everyone, and welcome to Rising Stories Podcast. I'm Corrine Sandifer, your host. Each week, I interview a business owner or an author, and we chat about what it takes to build a business or how they became published authors. We also discuss topics that we can all relate to, such as work-life balance, living with intention, and dreaming big. As these women share their stories with us, it's my hope that you will be encouraged to live out your own story. I have some great guests coming up in the next few weeks, so make sure you're connected with me on Instagram and on Twitter. I'm at Corrine Sandifer on both Instagram and Twitter. And don't forget to leave a comment on iTunes, as this helps others find the show. So today you just have me. I am going to talk to you about your LinkedIn profile in summary. I've heard from a lot of you, and this is a question that I continue to get asked by my entrepreneurs and my business owners and authors that I talk to and coach, trying to get their LinkedIn account to work for them and to get their profile cleaned up and their summary and all the different parts of LinkedIn that some may not know about. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm also going to talk to you about Nashville, which is my favorite city, and what I like to do, where I like to take my folks that come in, my guests, out-of-town guests, where I tell them to go, what to do, and where to eat. So I'm going to share about some of my favorite restaurants around town, and also share with you my favorite podcast that I've been listening to. So I'm also going to talk about my 3 favorite things, which one of them happens to be at Trader Joe's. So I did a Trader Joe's video, and I'm hoping to release that soon. So stay tuned about that. And it's just basically from my list of things that I normally get at Trader Joe's. I'll talk a little bit about that, and I'm also going to post that on my blog. So stay tuned. That's what we're going to talk about today. And here we go. All right, so we're going to talk about how to make your LinkedIn profile stand out above the rest. You know, one of the things that you want and your goal is to be the top of someone's mind when they visit LinkedIn or when they think about the job that you do. So make sure that you are active on LinkedIn, you're posting, you're liking, you're commenting, but all that is null and void if your profile does not look sharp. So number 1 is make sure that you have a photo. So if you don't have a photo, just grab whatever photo that is the clearest of yourself. Maybe borrow it from Instagram or from Facebook. Ask your kids or ask a neighbor or friend, if does this look clear enough to you? So make sure you get an opinion, because sometimes we're used to, oh, I look good in that, but it might be a little foggy. So make sure it's a clear photo. So go with that until you can get a professional shot, because the professional shot is the best. But make sure you have a picture, because if someone is looking around for someone, they're not going to land on your page. They're going to pass you by if they see that little empty bubble. So that's first and foremost. The next thing is to add a description and a job description of what you do, who you are, and make sure that you are putting in some great keywords, key terms that describe what you do. If you don't know what key terms to use, maybe you should check out, Google leaders that are in your field and see how they are describing themselves. It's a great tool to have on Google. With Google, you can just find all kinds of things. So if you want to mimic what other people are doing, then check that out. These keywords will help your profile appear on LinkedIn search results. So that is always good. The next thing is, when you're creating your summary, is to ask yourself some of these questions. What makes my work unique? What is unique about you? And who are you at work? Who are you as a realtor? Who are you as a strategist? Who are you as a author? What makes you different from the rest? And what's the best feature of your personality? That's another great question to answer. Write these down, write the questions down, and think about it and answer these questions before you start writing your summary. What's the best feature of my personality? What are your core values? Because sometimes that goes into play. People want to know, if they are, if they can connect with you on some level. So if your core values match up with someone else's core values, they're more likely to click on your profile, look into what you do, and find you that way and you win over a client. Another thing is, what experiences do you bring to your field and to your line of work? What is it that makes you stand out above the rest? So make sure that you're Googling your title, and make sure that you're using keywords, and be specific in your job descriptions. For example, Inc. magazine says that instead of using something dull like manager of sales, use something that elaborates on how you excel. Manager of sales, revenue growth in mobile apps. Much more specific, much more attention grabber. So make sure that you are grabbing your, potential clients and people that need to see your profile right off the bat with words that are capturing the essence of what you do and make you stand above the rest. And be specific about your skills and your niches that are within your summary that can attract prospective employers and collaborators in that field. Once you've completed your summary, make sure that you ask a colleague or a friend to look it over for you to catch any mistakes in grammar and to keep it short. So what can you eliminate? What sentences can you eliminate? And here is a great tip for anyone who is writing something, especially like a short summary. Go line by line, but from the bottom, because we're so used to just reading our words from the top and we miss out on mistakes. And maybe there are some sentences, if you're reading from the bottom, each sentence as you go, it's not in order, and you might see that, oh, this is kind of redundant. I've already said it at the beginning, so you can cut that out. So make sure that it's short, and also just keeping it clear and of what you do and what you can do for people. The next thing I want to talk about is how to get your name out, how to be that top of the mind person in your field. And one of the things is make sure that you are part of a group. There are tons of groups, and LinkedIn allows you to be a part of, I think it's like over 100 groups. So utilize that, but make sure that you are joining groups where your prospects are and not where your competitors are. So if you're an author and you want a specific group to read your book, don't go where there's a big author group. I mean, you can have that, and I'm sure that you have a group of supporters and, industry people that you can chat with. Don't let it be that for LinkedIn. Go to where your audience. So if you have written a book about breast cancer, go to a group of breast cancer survivors that possibly might want to read your book. So let's choose that instead of going where your competitors are. Also, keep your name active in these groups by posting content, relevant content, and it doesn't have to just be your own content. It could be things that you're grabbing from other places, Twitter or your news feed on Facebook. Anything that you find that is relevant in the content for your people, go ahead and share it in those groups. Sharing your business and what you're doing is also great. Keeping your name at the top of their mind is what is important. Another thing is just keep posting. You can reach thousands of people if you keep your status updated. Keep posting things. It's easy to use an automation service to share content on a regular basis. So use that. I love Hootsuite and Buffer. I spend maybe an hour or two a week, maybe not even that, because it doesn't take very long to automate stuff. It probably takes more of me looking for things that are relevant than it does to automate stuff. So bang, bang, you can just like post things and it runs on autopilot. So make sure that you're creating content that your clients care about. So that's all I have about LinkedIn. I hope that it was helpful for you. And if you have any questions, just send me a tweet or a direct message. You know where to find me. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Facebook, all at Corrine Sandifer. So make sure that you're connecting with me if you're not already. And if you have a question about LinkedIn, just shoot me an email or whatever, and I will respond. On to the rest of the show. So, my favorite by far podcast has been Off Camera with Sam Jones. I'm not a big celebrity. Like, I know some of my girlfriends love to read People magazine and those tabloids that are on the end cap at the grocery store. I love to hear like very in-depth conversations with people. And that's what Sam Jones Off Camera does for me. They interview, like Rob Lowe has been one of my favorite interviews that he's done. Courtney Cox, just all kinds of celebrities. And they really talk. Kristen Bell is another great one. So when I'm listening to podcasts, I listen to Sam Jones Off Camera. I also love, and I'm going to just be very unprofessional here and just take a quick peek at my phone. So I'm trying to remember, the other one is called, oh goodness. I do like the Tim Ferriss show. I recently listened, when I was on vacation, I recently listened to his interview with Tony Robbins. Love Tony Robbins, of course. I'm a life coach at heart, so love anything he puts out. So that was really an interesting, eye-opening interview with Tim Ferriss about Tony Robbins and what he does. He's an amazing guy. So those are the two that I can think of offhand that I love, and I'm looking at the rest of my podcasts. The other ones, they're not like my total favorites, but I just, those are my two favorites so far. So I do listen to a couple of church ones that, sermons and things like that. But those two are ones that I always go back to. All right, so on to the places that I frequent for yummy food. Number one is, and you've probably already heard me talk about this, it's one of my favorites, and it's called Mas Tacos. I love everything that she has. She pretty much has the same menu, but I love because it's always just plain good. My favorite is the tortilla soup. But there's one place that is closer to my house that we go to almost on a regular basis, or we used to until part of my family became vegan. And so now it's a little bit harder to do Mexican and things that we really love. But another place is Taqueria del Sol, which is it's a chain. It doesn't have too many places. There's one, I think, in New Jersey and a lot in Atlanta. And then there are two locations here in Nashville. Now, their menu does fluctuate, and sometimes they have big dishes, specialties. One of the things that I absolutely love, and I've only had it one time, and I keep missing it every year after that since then, is they have Hatch chili. So they have like this chili relleno, which means filled chili. So it's the Hatch chili from New Mexico. and then they fill it with these cheesy things. I don't know what is in it, but it's delicious. And then they kind of batter and fry it, and it's just out of this world. But I've missed it. I've only had it once, and it was to die for. So that takes me to what I tell my folks that come in town, my friends and family that come in town and want to do something fun in Nashville. There's a couple of places that I always tell them to go to, and one of them is, you must, if you come to Nashville, you must go see the Parthenon, which is an exact replica of the original Parthenon that's in Athens, Greece. I mean, it's an amazing thing to look at, and inside they've got a ginormous statue of Athena, so that's always good to see too. But the outside, just if you just have a few minutes, just swing by there, get out, and just see the magnitude of this amazing building of the replica of the Parthenon. I mean, it's a complete, exact replica. Excuse me, and they have it's made of stone, and it's still standing, and it's great. So I always tell people, go to Centennial Park and go see the Parthenon. The other thing is if you want something fun to do and you want to go downtown, hit Pinewood Social first. And especially if it's at night, you can get a great view of downtown. If you want to take pictures, the parking lot is the place to be at Pinewood Social, and you can get a great view of downtown Nashville. So those are the two places that I tell people to go. The other thing is you must check out and eat hot chicken if you're in Nashville. So check out Hattie B's. They've got different locations, so just pick one and enjoy. They will allow you to taste, or if you can order like your meal and that not be hot, because there's a range of hotness on the chicken. So you can order like, 3 chicken strips of, the mild, and just ask them to give you a piece of the extra hot or the extremely, the top one. I suggest you get just like one so you can try it, and then make sure that you have plenty of food around. Don't let that be the last thing you eat and then you don't have something to drink. So make sure that you've got it all there and ready to go as you taste the hot chicken in Nashville. So on to my 3 favorite things. Number 1, I've been getting back into cooking a little bit more. I kind of took a hiatus during the summer. I was in a slump and I couldn't think of what to cook. Just sometimes you are in a rut, and I was there during the summer. We ate a lot of just to-go salads and things like that. But one of the things that I'm loving these days is cutting up potatoes and putting them into anything and everything. So one of my favorite dishes that I make in the morning is potatoes and eggs. I have scrambled eggs. So you put in the potatoes first and cook those, just making sure that they're fork tender. And then I just kind of saute them either in coconut oil or regular canola oil, whatever it is you use. And then throw in your scrambled eggs. And I usually put them in a corn tortilla and top them with some salsa, homemade salsa, and it's the best. So that's what I've been loving these days. The other thing that I'm absolutely loving these days is my hand lotion. I have a hand lotion everywhere. I have it in my car. I have it in my office studio. I have it by my bedside. I have it near my makeup. I have it. The only place I don't have it is my kitchen. I need to get a little pump thing for my kitchen because I hate when my hands are dry and I just don't feel like I can grip anything. So my favorite hand lotion is from L'Occitane. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. L'Occitane. And it's just the ultra rich body lotion. And it comes in a pump and it smells heavenly, but it's also just really, it's thick, but it's not greasy, if that makes sense, because I hate greasy type lotion. Usually I try to get one that has shea butter in it. So that's one of my favorite things. The next thing that I'm absolutely loving, and I continue to love it, and I have it every week, is my sweet tea from Sonic. The thing that I love about Sonic is the Sonic Ice, so the sweet tea, and I let it just kind of sit there for a while before I drink it because it gets cold, and I love cold things. When I was in Europe, I just was like, I'll never live here because, you guys don't utilize your ice making abilities. Nobody had ice. Everything was just so lukewarm, which is probably best for your body. But I just love cold beverages. I love, even in the wintertime, it just seems to really quench my thirst. And it's, it's refreshing. So sweet tea is what I'm loving. So that's it. That's the end of the show. But I do want to leave you with some encouragement. If you are a business owner, just make sure to stay on your mission. Stay in doing what you know to do, putting one foot in front of the other, making sure that you are getting up every day and just hitting it hard because time passes. And if you aren't seizing the day, it will seize you. So also when life feels like it's tough and there's a brick wall in front of you, just remember, just keep pressing through. You'll find that when you press through that brick wall, you find that the brick wall is not a brick wall at all, but a wall, just a paper thin wall that you can just push through. And on the other side is your reward and is the easiest thing that you've ever done. But if you just look at the wall and feel like it's too much and don't even try, then you'll never know how easy it is to break through. And on the other side is just some triumphs and some successes. So remember to just keep going, keep rising. And I would love to hear you in your comments of how you're enjoying the show. Please leave me some comments and likes and all kinds of things, and let me know what you're thinking and who you want to see or hear on this show. Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to Rising Stories podcast. I really appreciate you listeners, especially those of you who are still listening at the end of this show. Thanks so much for sticking it out with me and all of my mistakes and and big swallows and everything else that isn't exactly perfect in a podcast. But I am so thrilled and honored that you are listening to this show. So if you have any guests that you would like for me to have on the show, please direct message me either on Instagram, or you can reach me at CorrineSandifer.com. Just send me a message through that. And thanks so much for listening, and keep rising in your own story.